Now, in talking about this matchup, Victor, Love goes against Disley. Well, he'll also go against Noah Fant. But, see, they play a lot of two tight ends. And Disley, well, he's already got 3 touchdown catches on 19 grabs on 20 targets. Love says you got to keep aware of him.
I think he's a threat. They do a good job of using their tight ends in their game. And so that's what it is. We got to be accounting for him in all phases of the game because he's a threat.
Now, you talk about their tight ends. They'll use 2 and 3 even on occasion. So how wary do you have to be of their bunches and, of course, how they block in the running game?
Yeah, I think they have, they have a really good unit and a really good scheme for what they do in terms of tight end position. You see them sometimes with 2, 3 in the game, like you said, and they're talented. They got Fan over there, and they got some studs, and so we got to be accountable. We got to play big, and we got to be able to stop the pass when they're in the game as well.
Now, as we count the days down, Metcalf is banged up. Now, whether or not he plays, I would have to think that even if he does, they're going to probably look into other targets, and that would make Disley a more valuable threat for them, right?
Yeah, we're preparing like 14's going to play because he's a serious player, and I know he's tough, so I'm sure he's going to try to get back for this game. That's our mindset, but if he doesn't, then he doesn't, and we'll adjust our plan accordingly.
Now, it'll be an interesting matchup. I'm really excited to see how Julian Love fares with both of these tight ends, but Will Disley specifically, he averages 11 yards per catch, which is pretty high for a tight end. So you want to make sure that he's physical with him, that he's disrupting him off the line of scrimmage, because you just don't want him to have any free goals off the line and keep his targets very, very low.
Now, it's interesting to me, Victor, because Wink Martindale loves to use 3 safeties. He loves to blitz guys all over the place, but Love has only blitzed 1 time over the last 4 games. They like him more in center field. Why do you think?
Well, I just think he's a smart player. I think he understands what he sees. He understands different route combinations and different types of players. So understanding that, you want to keep him kind of in center field, kind of like your center fielder back there, surveying the entire field and making instinctive plays left and right, which he does very, very well.
Well, they'll certainly have to keep an eye on Disley once again. He has a 39-yard long touchdown grab against Denver. That came back in week 1, so he can get downfield. All right, let's look at the next matchup, Victor. And it is Jon Feliciano against Jordyn Brooks, Seattle's very strong linebacker. This guy has 73 tackles, is second in the NFL, and has at least 8 stops in every game this year, which means John and company have to keep an eye on him.
Yeah, I mean, he's very quick, sideline to sideline. Their D-line does a good job of keeping the double teams off him and letting him do the great things that the great things he can do. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge with him this week.
Yeah, it looks like with some of the other bigger names who aren't there anymore, he has really established himself as the heart and soul and the leader of that defense. Can you tell that from looking at the tape?
Yeah, I mean, he's filling big shoes, and I think he's doing a great job.
Now, what about his blitz capabilities? I noticed he's got some quarterback hits and some pressures, so obviously they're including him in their package.
Yeah, he's slippery. He's very quick and can drop the shoulder and bend the edge. He'll be a good guy to play against.
This is going to be a big matchup for Jon, specifically because Jordyn Brooks is a really good player. Obviously, we talked about his accolades at length, but he's just a strong, physical, downhill player that Jon Feliciano is going to have to know where he is. That entire offensive line is going to have to know where he is at all times. So Jordyn Brooks is going to be a handful, but the offensive line, along with Jon Feliciano, has to make sure they keep a key on where he is at all times.
I think it's really important to note that the Giants are second in the NFL with 73 rushes up the middle, right behind Feliciano's back. He's been durable, he's smart, and they average 4.7 yards a carry in doing so. Now, Victor, we all know that once Barkley gets some room, he can be dangerous. So it's very key for Feliciano to make sure he gets the right reads and the right calls at the line.
Absolutely. It's all about preparation, mental preparation first, and then you execute. But if they're able to get a body on him and able to get some position and start to move him wherever they want and attack that aggression, kind of negate that aggression, it'll leave some running holes for Saquon and the rest of that running back group.
Yeah, getting to Brooks at the second level is really going to be a key. In fact, last year, Brooks tied an all-time Seattle record held by Bobby Wagner with 20 tackles in a game. He can really ruin things.
Baller.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Head to Head.